Certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Everyone, and thank you for joining us in the program Woman to Woman. I'm Adisu Welsawagie, and so we're doing part 2 of what we started last week, paternity fraud. We heard last week why, when, how, and all of those excuses, and we thought that 1 or 2 people will call in. So today we're having part 2 of that topic, and today's topic is legal and psychological implications of paternity fraud. We're going to look at the legal angle and, of course, the psychological angle. I have in the studio with me Dr. Igedosa Oseme Bartholomew. He's a consultant psychiatrist, Department of Mental Health, University of Benin Teaching Hospital. A pleasure to have you join us today, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure. All right. And then joining us via Zoom is Tega Iswakbo, Esquire. She's a principal partner, Justice Shields Consults. Hello, Tega. We meet again. Thank you for having time to join us on the program. Okay, let me come to my doctor in the house. So, Doctor, hope you don't mind me using your first name.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. Okay, Doc. Let's look at because we started this topic last week, so I don't want to ask you what is paternity fraud, but as a doctor, a specialist in this field, what's the emotional impact of paternity fraud on the man?
There is a lot of emotional stress, psychological stress that a man experiences in the circumstances of paternity fraud. A very good way to imagine it is to say that somebody is bereaved, like the person has lost a dear one. Or imagine when somebody loses his father or mother or child, close relatives and so on. It can be the emotional turmoil can be as bad as that, because in paternity fraud you are made to realize, haven't been unraveled, you are made to realize that the person you have always thought you are the biological father of is no longer your son or is no longer your daughter. And the psychological impact of such awareness, like I said, is as severe as somebody who is bereaved. And the person goes through similar stages of bereavement, according to some psychologists. That is the popular stage by Kubler-Ross, when they talk about denial, anger, bargaining, depression, then finally acceptance. So it's a whole lot, and it can lead to a lot of psychological distress, and in fact it can lead to a mental disorder if not well addressed.
Okay, when when such a thing happens, like you said, denial will always come. Is it really true? Is it not true? And all of that. There's usually this conflict within the man. Now, how can a man cope with all of this? How can a man cope with it?
Well, it is important to first of all admit that it's a difficult thing to cope with. That's very important. Why this is important is because if we must address the concerns of such people, one of the best things we can do to address their concern is to show them empathy. And empathy implies that you must be able to imagine yourself in that kind of situation.
It's a difficult thing to do, you know?
Yeah, so it is important to realize this, to be able to help such a person and to understand how they cope. And so, because if you do, you understand why they can be angry, you understand why they can be sad, you understand why they can lose the ability to concentrate, you understand why they feel restless, you understand why they are not able to sleep at night. So it is really a lot for them, and one of the things they can do is to accept the reality. And the unfortunate reality here is that that person you used to believe that you are the biological father of, the son, the daughter, you are no longer the biological father, and that has been made known to you. So certainly there will be outrage,
Yes.
there will be anger, yes, and those are acceptable, and that is the truth. But all those things must be controlled. Otherwise, that raw emotion can lead to something more dangerous.
Is
if not
that
controlled.
being able to control all of that we want to talk about now, Doctor? How can we help? Because the last place such a person will want to go to is to seek help in a hospital, because the person will tell you that I don't have problems with my head, I can reason well and all of that. The last person that a victim, let's put it that way, we want to see is a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So how do we help these people, those of us who are maybe friends or relative of those victims, so to speak, victim of paternity fraud? How do we stand in for that person to make sure that there is no breakdown in that person's mental health, no depression, no violence whatsoever?
Yeah, one of the things the place to start from is, like I said, one needs to understand that whatever it is, what the person is going through, the paternity fraud realization,
Yes.
is a difficult thing to cope with by anybody and by whatever standard. Then the next step is to, as much as possible, support the person. And how can you support the person? Let the person realize that the entirety of his life is not about being a father to a particular person.
Okay.
There is still much more to the individual's life than being a father. Because why this is important is because if an individual do not realize that his self-concept as an individual is not entirely about I am the father of A, I am the father of B. The immediate thing the person will do when he realizes that he is no longer the father of certain person is to
of
go
that
and
child.
start thinking of committing
And sometimes
suicide.
children, not just one, not two, maybe 4, 5 children, after he has invested so much. That is crazy.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, let me ask you this one before I go to Tega, who is already waiting for me online. What is the psychological, or let me put it this way, does the woman or the child or children share in this emotional trauma?
Yeah,
And
certainly.
if yes, how?
Yes, they share in it. In fact, it is known that there are different levels of victims
Yes.
in case of paternity fraud. But the primary victims are referred to as the misattributed father, or the non-biological father, who is the first or the primary victim. The second primary victim is the child. So to answer your question, the child or the children involved also share in this psychological distress. And to some extent, even the wife or the mother of the child. So for the child, it is also a loss of identity, because the child just doesn't realize that the person he or she
As
used
we
to
call him
look
father.
up to as the father is no longer the father. Is enough to put so much pressure and stress on the person's brain, enough for the person to start having inability to sleep, enough for the person to now having inability to concentrate. And so when the child goes to school, you say everything you want to say, the child cannot pick out one because the child is distressed in his or her brain.
Okay.
That is if the child goes to school at all. Then in the night, the child cannot sleep. The reason is not far-fetched. The reason is because what the child considers fundamental to him, or what the child considers fundamental to her, is his or her identity. And that identity is attached to, in quotes, his father. And immediately the child realizes that this person, I've been lied to all these years. This person is not actually my father. The whole chemistry of the child's brain is distorted, and there cannot be a better description of what psychological turmoil can be.
That's quite
compared
sad.
to that situation.
That's quite sad. When we come back, we'll come and ask you more questions. All right, let me go to my friend Tega, who's already waiting on the other side. Tega, how do you do? Let me hope and pray that we're able to hear each other. Now, Tega, what does Nigerian law hold for a victim of paternity fraud, and what are the penalties? Are there explicit laws?
So, unlike So unlike other jurisdictions like UK and US that have separate jurisdiction for paternity fraud, we do not have what we know as paternity fraud as a crime in this jurisdiction. I mean, in Nigeria. Do you understand? So if Mr. A discovers that the children or the child that he has been claiming to be his is no longer his, he cannot, enforce it in the court of law to say, okay, I'm going to enforce my right that paternity fraud, my paternity has been breached. So we do not have that kind of law in Nigeria. But we have other means of going about seeking for compensation or for damages under our law, which can be under torts, talking about the tort of deceit, for example. I don't know if you can hear me.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Yes, talking about the tort of deceit. Now, this is based on what we a Latin maxim we know as ubi jus ubi remedium. That is, where there is a wrong, there is a remedy. So under the thought of deceit, for example, the man can sue for damages. The man can sue for compensation for the money he has spent, bringing up this child over the years, for psychological trauma, for emotional trauma. That's one of the ways the man can seek redress in court. Another way the man can seek redress in court is by dissolution of the marriage. Of course, on the basis of adultery. The evidence of the child stares the court in the face when we talk about adultery. So you need no further evidence, especially when a court-supervised DNA has been conducted and it shows that the man is not the father of the child or the children. So that is a very good way to prove adultery in seeking for dissolution of the marriage. Of course, the man can also seek for to disclaim responsibility of the children of the child in question, because the child would have been bearing his name, in his birth certificate, travel documents, and all that. So the man can approach a court first to seek for a court-supervised DNA, and where it proves that he's not the father of the child, the man can go ahead and now seize responsibility, fatherly responsibility to these children.
Is it possible for the man, assuming something like that happens somewhere, and then the man says, okay, fine, you have done this to me, no problem, but I want these children, but I don't want you as the woman? Is it possible for him to say, okay, I don't want the woman anymore, I don't want the marriage anymore, but because those children were born in my house under my name, I can claim those children? Is it possible for the man to so do? Because he has invested so much.
Well. You know what? Yes. What the court looks at in cases like this is the best interest of the child. A child has grown up to know a man as his or her father. And then you want to just take the child away from the man and say, Mr. B is now your father. The court must look at the best interest of the child. Now, there is a law under our Evidence Act, Section 165, that states that the children of a marriage, the children born during a valid marriage, is presumed to be the children of that man. And until it is rebutted, the father will continue to be the father of that child or those children. So yes, he can decide to say, I want to have the children.
So he can still claim the children as his.
Yes, he can still claim the children as his. As a matter of fact, there is a Supreme Court decision on this, that as long as the children are born during the pendency of a valid marriage, the children can still be claimed to be the children of the man.
I'm going to take a very short break now. When we come back, I'll come back to you. And of course, Dr. Oseme in the studio will come back to you in a moment. Let's take a very short break and we'll be right back. It's paternity fraud we're talking about. Thank you so much for joining us again on the program, Woman to Woman. Don't be surprised you're seeing a man on show. Yeah, he's a professional and he's talking to us about the kind of problem the man can suffer when this happens. So, doctor, A man has seen that he's not the biological father of a child he has invested in so much, that he has loved. Sometimes it could be 5 children, it could be 10 children, and that man may be so old he will not be able to have children again, or may not be interested in having children again. Now, the mental state of the man, the mental state of the child or children, I don't want to talk about the mental state of the woman, because I think, I shouldn't have an opinion, but a woman who can be betting for another man right in her husband's house needs to be checked. I mean, that's not a normal, it's not a normal behavior. Though it is eating so deep into the fabrics of society, where a lot of women are doing all of this. Is this a new fashion trend now, to marry one man, stay in his house, and be betting another man's baby under the name of the man you are living with? So, doctor, the question is, this man who, some men may not present, they may not do anything, they may not see anything, they may just be laughing and smiling, but I know deep down they are hurting. So such a man, how can we help him to avoid violence, to avoid depression, to avoid committing suicide, or to avoid doing something terrible on him, because society will judge him? The culture, everything will laugh at the man. The man who is supposed to be a victim will then be victimized. And then the child too. How do we help that child to cope? Because the child may suffer a lot of damages in future.
Yes, certainly the man and the child, they would need a lot of psychological support for obvious reasons, as said earlier.
Do they need to go to hospital to find a psychiatrist or psychologist?
Yes, that will be very important.
They have to.
Yes, very, very important. But most importantly, it's also good for the general public or relatives of such people. So, because oftentimes you would hardly find such person on their own going to say, I want to seek a professional help.
Yes, even so, somebody who is all right, find it difficult to go to the hospital.
So oftentimes it is important to educate the people, the masses, and especially the people around such persons, that they shouldn't be judgmental towards people like that. They should understand that the person is going through a lot of stress. Some of them that refer to as psychological conflict, or some that were referred to as attachment dissonance, for example. Imagine having realized and you are not taking care of somebody you now know is not your child, or haven't realized the person is not your child, and you are imagining all the investment, all the emotion, all the effort that you have put into bringing up such a person, and the fact that this person is not dead. I mean, the child is still alive under your nose. Everything has just changed totally about who you are, who that child is and what the relationship between the both of you are. So it's a lot of dissonance that is capable of actually breaking down any human being. So what is expected of, I would rather want to talk more about what is expected of the individual is to ensure that he or she he realizes the circumstances, agree that it has happened, and figure out the way forward as much as possible. So while that is important, even the relatives, this is a time not to be judgmental towards this person. This is a time to give support to such individual. I'm emphasizing this because, like I said earlier, most of the time they are not the people who choose by themselves that they want to go and seek help. It is the people around them who identifies this psychological state that this person has found himself, and talk to him as a relative and say, brother, I think you may need to seek help. But we also need to encourage people like that to speak up. And unfortunately, in our environment, one of the ways we assume somebody is a strong man is for the person not to cry when ordinarily the situation demands that he should cry. Men don't cry. They say men don't cry.
They don't cry.
But when you are in such a state, one of the ways of healing yourself is actually to cry. Because crying itself is therapeutic.
It doesn't make the man a weakling. It doesn't make him to appear weak.
Exactly. But unfortunately, that is not what we were taught. From childhood, even up to now. Everybody says a man should not cry. So when the man is psychologically distressed, he should still not cry. Therefore, bottling up the pressure, the psychological pressure, and further damaging himself.
Okay. Tega, are you with me? Is Barrister Tega with me? All right,
Yes, I am.
Tega, let me ask you this question now. It seems that a woman who has committed paternity fraud usually walks free, even if the man stop paying, stop taking care of the children, divorce her, and all of that, send her away from his life, and I still feel that the woman walk free. Isn't there something the woman can go in for, either jail term or, you name it, a fine or something that will serve as deterrent to that woman?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Under the penal code, which applies to some of the northern states in Nigeria, the woman can go to jail for a term of 2 years or more, because under the penal code, adultery is a crime. So if the man sues the woman for adultery, she can go to jail for 2 years or more. And apart from that, the woman can also be made to pay for psychological damage, emotional damage, and what have you. So
How
it's
much
not
can
as
she
if she's
pay
going
for
to
all of
walk
that?
free. Well, I
How
think it's
much can the
because
woman pay for all of that? This is our
I think it's
agenda. How much can we pay?
it's because they'll be able to evaluate all that, um, depending on the evidence that is put forward before the court. And of course, also depending on the age of the child. You know, a child has finished nursery, primary, university, you know, of course, the woman will be made to pay for all that years of spending money unwarranted.
Okay, so briefly, Tega, how can the man seek redress now? How can the man seek redress?
Yes,
I would like to know.
yes,
So just do
yes.
that
Like
briefly in 30 seconds if you can.
yes, like I said before, where there is a wrong, there is a remedy.
Yeah.
Ubi jus ibidium, ubi remedium. Now, the man can seek redress by filing a civil suit
Okay.
in terms of maybe dissolution of the marriage, and the evidence would be adultery, psychological trauma, emotional trauma, and all that. The man can also come under criminal law, under the sort of deceit, to claim damages and all that. So yes, that's one of the ways the man can seek redress in court. Of course, the man can also ask the court for a court-supervised DNA test, and
All right,
when
thank
that
you.
is
Thank
done,
you so much,
it can-
Tega. Doctor, please, maybe in 30 seconds, what's your parting word for that man who may suffer paternity fraud, who is suffering paternity fraud, and then the children too? What's your parting word before we leave? Your parting statement, rather.
For the man, I just want to say that the end of silence is the beginning of healing.
Okay.
So the man needs to realize that silence over psychological stress and bottling them up is not a solution to handling such stress.
Okay.
So speaking up and seeking help is very important for the individual to get himself back on track. And for the child,
Yes.
it is also important that the child should be helped by everyone around and ensure that the child seek help. It is very, very important.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much, Doctor. You may want to know that paternity fraud has gone so deep. It is tearing the society apart. It has torn marriages apart. And unfortunately, it is only when, or sometimes the man may just know, somebody may just be a whistleblower, or when they want to travel and they need to do DNA tests. Now, so once you want to travel and your wife is refusing DNA tests, Oga, go and order for a DNA test so that you'll be sure that your kids are yours. I'm just wondering why DNA tests cannot be done at birth, so that the man will know whose child is taking home.
Well,
Is it impossible?
It is not impossible,
Okay.
but oftentimes in our environment, because it is also, of course, it's not free of charge.
Yes.
There must be some level of suspicion before you say, I want to do this. Because the next thing is it a regular, is it like a malaria parasite test?
Okay.
Is it like a genotype test?
Okay.
So there must be some level of suspicion before you say, I think I want to do this. So there must be an indication, typically, especially in our environment.
All right, for our men, doctor said, words of marble, the end of silence is the beginning of healing. Please speak up so that you don't die in silence. Thank you for being part of our show today. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, Doctor.
No, thank you.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Thanks for staying with us on the program Icons on Independent Television. My guest on the program today is an established health practitioner who has been in the US for over 40 years. She's also an outstanding businesswoman, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist who has continued to make giant strides with various business interests across the world and touching lives in a very, very special way with her milk of human kindness. I'd like to welcome very, very specially Dr. Okorowa, Dr. Elizabeth Okorowa Okoje, popularly called Dr. O. Dr. O, it's good to have you on the program Icons on ITV.
Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Well, let's begin with your trajectory in life. You're popularly called Dr. O. Where did that come from? How did you become someone that is recognized or seen globally as Dr. O?
Okay. Well, so for the initials for my last names.
Okay.
You have Dr. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Okorowa Okoje, aka Dr. Ojugo. What is in there? O. Then I would just basic names like Dr. Okorowa Okoje. Okay, Dr. Ojugo. Okay. Now here comes out a vibrant part of me that went from grass to grace. So I just see my fans, like my fans, my Hollywood family, in my entertainment business, started by one person, father, and all my Hollywood family, Dr. O. So that was how it all started.
So it's not like a joke, like
Dr. O.
It's not like a stamp on you now today.
Yeah, so when I go to events over there in the United States, I always ask people, my PA will say, whom are you inviting? Are you inviting Dr. Ojubo or are you inviting Dr. O? People say, okay, what is the difference? So if it's Dr. Ojugo, I will just sit there and perform like everybody else. But if they're inviting Dr. O, that is where the Odogun lady in me will come out. Where you see, I will really declare the floor while they Dr. O.
Yeah.
So that is it.
All right.
Doing great things.
All right. Let me ask you this question, which is one of the curtain raiser questions that we have for this program. Talk to us about your growing up. I know you were not born in, I don't know, maybe you were born in with golden spoon in your mouth or a diamond spoon in your mouth. What was it like growing up? What's your trajectory like?
Well, growing up as a little girl in a village, Irua, Osugbenu, Irua, in Edo State, my parents, Prince Peter Okoje and his queen, Obidu Okorowa. I grew up as a child that has always been out there, a child that sees something that is everybody match, they pass it, but a child that will go there and pick it up and say, oh, this thing is valuable. I grew up as a child that want people to see me. People will be going to the farm. I will tell them, no, don't go. You have to watch me dance first. So I will dance for them before I allow them to go to the farm. And I'm the child, anyone that needs help in my village, I will say, okay, you want water? You want, what do you want me to do? You want me to help you clear the bush? Or you want me to help you cook? You want me to help you pound the yam? People say water. I ride my bike. Sometimes we used to walk from Subenu to Obiame River in Irua to go fetch water. Where people are going once, me, I'm already returning twice because I feel there are other older women in the village that cannot really fetch water. Then I just go, I fetch for my mother, then I go fetch for other people in the neighbors. Then I'm that kind of child also that I see some kids growing up, they'll be like, oh, we don't eat rice. But for me, growing up, my dad was one of the founders of Cherubim and Seraphim Church, where food is always there. There's always dedication, there's always food to eat. But I see some of my kids as we are playing, they're like, oh, we don't eat rice every day. We don't eat rice at all. There's a particular cousins, their mother goes to the market three times a week. You go to Eboma market, she will go to Gbenu market, she will go to Irua market. And I came up with a plan. I said, you know what, you don't eat rice, I'll make sure you eat rice. We go to the ceiling where the mother keep all the bag of rice, we bring it down, we ask one of them to be pounding, I'll ask the other one, this is the pepper, this is tomato, start grinding. They start to grind. Then I'll go to my poultry because everybody in the village, they feel there's a grace in my hands. So they give me chicken to rear.
For them? For
them. And the chicken was overproducing, then we share. So I have my own little poultry for goats, for everything. So I go to the one that are laying eggs, I pick up some eggs, I put it in the pot. My mom is like, what are you doing? I said, Mom, I'm cooking today, I'm cooking. So I'll be cooking the food. From there, the egg is cooked. From there, I lower the heat for my mother. Then I take the eggs. I go to the next house where the rice is being prepared for those my cousins. Then before you know, stew is ready. Back. Within 30 minutes, rice stew is done. I put two eggs for them. One of them today is the greatest doctor in the whole world. He talks about it to everybody. So that's how we grew up. And me, I grew up as a child, me and my sister, my parents gave birth to 3 of us that time. So me and my sister, very close. We grew up because my mom she married for so long, she didn't have no children. Okay. Then she married my dad, she got pregnant. For my sister, you know how it is in our land. Yeah. That child is a special child. Yeah. So that child always comes first, but I always come last. So because of that, I had to learn on how to be recognized by myself. Where people come, oh, my sister, oh, beautiful. Me, I came with a special package, as my mother said. I came as a special package whereby when they gave birth to me, my mom carried me for 14 months. She didn't give birth. People will say this is not a child.
14 months would mean like 5 months extra. It's supposed to be 9 months.
Yes, supposed to be 9 months.
So there's an additional 5 months.
Yes.
Before you came into the world.
Yes, and there was I never knew all this until when I was writing my book, 2014 in America. I decided to write a book, autobiography book. As we were going, the guy asked me, say, you know what, there's a missing puzzle. Let's call your parents. I said, well, my mom is still alive, but my dad no more. So we're asking my mom this question, so she started to release it. She didn't want to say it to me because she didn't want me to feel inferior among my mates. Okay. But I've always knew that there's something in me that's full of grace. Okay. Then my mom now told me that when she was pregnant for that long, they thought she was sick. My dad sent her home. But the brother came, Pastor Jeme, may so rest in peace. Amen. Then he now came, who owns Pata Poultry, came and said, no, this is not a sickness. This is pregnancy. That time, Dr. Okoje from Irua just came for Zuma Memorial Hospital. He took my mother there, and the doctor said, this is baby. I can hear the baby breathe. So they kept my mother there. At the end of the day, they gave birth to me. I didn't look like no child. I was so long and skinny. My cry was so different. They said I would be crying like a little goat. Then my mom, when it's time for baby show, my mom would wrap me up and enter the bush in the barrier and hide. Or like when she had my sister, everybody fell in love with my sister. Even when the white people came, they gave my sister a very important jewelry. But me, I was being hidden. So then the doctor said, don't worry, the baby is a baby, it's a human being. Okay. Then the one that is so funny is that white people see me the way I am today, my mother, they were laughing at my mother. They said, this is not a baby. So somebody told her that this is a river child. You should take her to the river, to Obieme River. So my mother really went to the Obieme and sat there, said, if this is your child, take her from me. This is your child, take her from me. So then Dr. Kojena said, if you put breast in her mouth and she's able to suck up your breast, she's a human being. She's not a river child. So my mother stayed there for a few days. I was still with her. Then she came back. She was scared to go home because my dad was like, what kind of a baby is this? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I started to really grow. I started to strive. I started to fetch for myself. The another thing I had, challenges I had was my legs were too big. My sister, my mom would buy her already made shoes. But me, a shoemaker had to make my shoe. That's why you see today, I wear heels. I make sure shoes is my passion today.
Okay.
People ask me, why do you always wear heels at this age? I'm like, you know what? At the beginning, I didn't have no shoe. So I would be the only one wearing shoemaker shoes. So as we grow up in the village, as people start to notice, friends start to laugh at me at school. And I say, you know, I came up with an idea. I say, hey, everybody, Christmas was coming. I ran from one village to another. Every night I was telling them, this Christmas, everybody show up in the primary school. Adults, we call it that time, that is the primary school. Show up there, we're going to learn a dance. So everybody gathered. I started to teach them a dance. So we start to dance. I said, this Christmas, we're not wearing no shoes. We're going to dance, we're barefooted. But they didn't know why I was saying that, because I was tired of wearing shoemaker shoe. So because people started to notice. So that was how I broke through that barrier. And that happened again. They came to a point too, when I growing up, I was like first, very smart. My auntie, Mama Ebudo, who is Michael Siemens' mom, was the one my dad followed to the village. Because my dad is actually a priest from Uromi. Okay. That's the story of another day.
Another day.
Then she would tell me, you know what, don't ever let anybody put you down, Mama Ebudo. You say, you are a princess. Anywhere you go, pretend the room is open for you. Pretend there's no other person but you. Raise up your shoulders and put your head above and keep striving.
Fantastic. Let me pause it there. I'll come back to you in a moment. It's still Icons on ITV. Interesting story from our guest here, Dr. Princess Elizabeth Okoruwa Okoji, popularly called Dr. O. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with you in just a moment. Please stay with us. Many thanks again for staying with us on Icons. Dr. O is still with me on this week's edition of the program. Dr. O, many thanks again for coming. Just talk to me about your primary school, secondary school, higher institution, and then your journey to United States of America. You know, we always believe that when you leave the shores of this country, you go to Europe and America. I mean, on the streets, you just find monies there. You pluck money from the trees, you pick money from the ground. And what was it like for you?
Okay, so growing up, as I said earlier, it wasn't easy for me to grow up. So because I grew up in a house where you see a child that was, after so many years before she was born, that child is precious, you know that, right? Yeah. Me, right after 1 year, here I am. Why are you here now? You're too early. You know what I mean? Not that anybody said that to me, I'm just the one capping it. Yeah. So I'm the kind of child, and the other one, my younger one, is the boy. So I was, you know, a girl, me and a boy. You know how boys are in this country. Boys, if you don't have a boy, you know what it is. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I will be the one to always, my mom will always snap at me. Always, you know, I'm like, okay, where do I go now? I check, I see all these our family members coming from out of town. Like my cousins, Professor Simen, the late Professor Simen, is so rest in peace. We come with his daughters. I will be there, you know, I'm just there, the one doing everything. Oh, but I say I'm the one that, Mama, happy pania. When my auntie got a big well in his compound where people fetch water, I'll be the one to sell water for her, be the one to do things for her. I was just kind of like everybody's child. I was being nosy everywhere. Then my mom, her business was akara, making akara. And I would be the one to sell the most akara for her. I would start selling akara from one village to another, from village to another. I would run back again, Mama, that is done. You pack another one for me. That would be after that. I'll make a lot of money for her, then before going to primary school. So when we're in school, I'm that child that sits and listens to the teacher. When the teacher is talking and I don't understand, we say, what did you say? You say, are you sleeping? You don't sleep? I said, no. Oh, where in class? No. I just want to know, I wanted you to say it. So I was always first. So anytime I want to read the result for school, I will kneel down like that. You know when you want to run, because I know I'm going to come out first. So I'll just go as soon as they call Elizabeth Okorowa. Bam! I will just run. You see, I will do some movie. I will do some acting. I will do some dancing. Before I will even get to the principal, everybody will say, "Okay, it's okay. Come and take your result." You know what I mean? So I've been always like being like a happy child, a child that loved family, a child that loved people around her, a child that loved to build something out of nothing. And I never really raised my shoulders. I put myself to the level of everybody. Okay. That my childhood, that I grew up at home, tried to help my aunties. Sometimes my mom get me angry. I go to my other auntie, the sister, Helen Mele, Barrister Sene's mom. Okay. I go there. I will hide there. I say, "Don't let my mom know I'm here." I'm not, because that one doesn't have a girl. So I'm your daughter today. So I'll get that one pound here. I used to have, when my mom would sometimes would deprive me of meat, because we say, "Oh, even if I give you all this meat now, you will still be skinny." So I said, okay, you have to be careful what you say to a child, because it affects them when they grow up, you know. So my auntie at Ivwe, Nemena Ivwe, all that one does is sell a bobo, fish and all of that. So I just tell my mom, I say, "You know what, I want to go visit Nemena Ivwe, because I know the next day is when she will take the fish to the market. So when I'm in her house, I will help her, Mama, just in sleep, don't worry, I'll do everything. I'll just start arranging the bobo, everything perfectly. From there too, I'm throwing some in my mouth. So by the time I come back, I'll be looking fresh. You know what I mean? So I'm that kind of child. I was kind of like, you know, help this person, help that person. I see somebody coming from the farm, the load is too much. I say, "You know what? Give it to me." I put mine down. First of all, drop the answer home before I come and pick mine. So that was how I grew up in the village. Then after that, I started to look for, when I was trying to go to high school. So my dad was so scared that time was when they were calling this abortion bet. Nobody wanted their daughter to go to school, because they believe they would just get pregnant. So I'm not going to touch the life of my sister, but I'm going to only touch my whole life. So when it got to my turn to get married, like my dad always say, "You all have to get married." We meet with the people separately. Then I will hide under the flower when the people will come looking for me. I will be hiding, listening to what they're saying. So one day they said, "Okay, when she's selling akara, just take her and take to Bini." So I was selling akara on this day. I got myself ready. So I was selling akara. Then they said, "Bring akara." I went there. Then they will say, "Ah, you are so beautiful. Why will you be selling akara? You go." I said, "No, I want to go to school." "Yes, we know you want to go to school. She marry my son. She will take you to school. You will do this, do that." I said, "Okay." They took me to the room with my akara thing on my head, with my thing here. I put all my money. You know, it's all coins. So as they were about to lock the door to start to kidnap me to take to Benin, like the way they smuggled my sister. And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem, Benin. Of course I'll go to Benin." Then I now let the thief loose, full of coins. Then I just grab it up as I was going to get up. I use it to slap all of them. I use my karate to destroy all of their faces, my weapon. And I opened the door and I ran away, and I was in the bush for almost six days. I didn't come out. I was hiding. Started eating apple, started eating this in the village. So I wasn't born with a golden spoon in my life. My life has always been challenges. So when these challenges come, God always give me the grace on how to navigate around them. So how did I survive that? Then it time come for me to go to high school, you know. Then my dad said, "You're not going." I was convincing my mom, "Mom, you know I sell akara, make you good money. I will go to the farm, I will do this. You must let me go to high school. I will never get pregnant." My father said, "No, you're always laughing with guys in the village." I said, "Daddy, people that don't even laugh with those guys are the ones that get pregnant. Leave me, let me be. I have my own destiny. Don't stop me." Okay. So what happened? We went to my uncle, Pa Eseme, took me to Ihide, took me to the high school in Auchi to do interview. So we were doing the interview from there. I was done. And my cousin was teaching there. Again admission. I'm now admitted. So it was now we have a prospectus letter and admission letter. That admission letter we have to show when we go to school. For them to admit, it was the Reverend Sister School, Catholic School, St. Angela's in Auchi, Ujeneni there. So then my dad now called me. He said, "But I've been seeing you moving with me. Where are you going?" I said, "Baba, I want to tell you, I've got admission to high school."
So that's when you went to high school?
Yes.
So he didn't know?
No. He said,
you later told him?
No, I said, "Baba, I've got admission to high school." He said, "Really?" So the real letter that I need to show for me to be able to enter the high school, I want to give it to my auntie, Mama Ibudo. I want to give it to my auntie to keep. I said, I have a feeling that my dad will do something to that letter. I've always had this situation, like God will give me, I will just like be feeling things and God will just show me what to do, something that might happen. Then I now took that prosperous letter to buy things. I was buying everything already. We put them in my auntie's house. I gave that letter to my dad. My dad said, it's me you want to disgrace. We don't hammer, we don't work. Oh, you know that this many pastors, many apostles. My father took that letter and turned it. Say, you're not going to the school. I said, I'm going to school. That's the real letter. Boom, I ran away. Then the day I was to go, the car picked me from my auntie's house. Then one of my aunties that died, Miss so rest in peace, okay, followed me to Auchi to take me to school. Then meanwhile, I was so young then, about 13, 14. Then I now went to high school. Then I was there. The students, everybody were now doing too much work, and I'm so smart. I fell in love with the Reverend Sisters, and I told them.
So it was a Catholic school?
Yeah, Catholic girls' school.
Catholic girls' school in Auchi.
Yes.
What's the name of the school?
St. Angela's Girls' Grammar School.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Dr. thank you so much for coming on the program.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank
our
you.
package for this week of the program Icons on Independent Television. Hope you had a great time with us. Be sure to join us same time, same station next week. We'll bring you another segment of the program. Till then, stay blessed and bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV,
ITV, certainly the best.
Omonomba Nedo Ukwakwalopolo Ewai II, Oba of Benin, performing during the 2025 Ododua Festival. Ododua Festival is unique as it was organized in honor of Ioba Omoni Hwoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, as part of activities for her burial rites. The rich traditions and cultural heritage of the Benin Kingdom was showcased when His Royal Majesty Ewai II engaged the floor to perform during Ugie Ododua in the palace ground in Benin City. In the dance performance, the Ogbelaka royal drummers supplied the needed impetus and rhythm for the dance. However, tributes are paid by the head of Benin deities to the monarch, who was the cynosure at the event. The event can best be imagined as the spiritual rejuvenation, stunned, spectaculars and guests at the colorful ceremony. 7 masquerades representing 7 spirits and deities conveyed different meaning in company with the head of the deities of Benin, with the Oba of Benin, who exhibited a grand cultural dexterity in his dance steps.
When they ask you waiting time they talk, the only time you need to tell them now, daughter o'clock. That's how to welcome us to our program. We call daughter the heart of the matter. The question we you go ask me now, say which matter I want to look the heart today. Now the matter when we say there for grand since now, and that matter now concern say how we go tell people or take display or take give people the result of the election when we say if they come so. So people they call it different things. Say they call it transmission of results. Or say, okay, that transmission of results, which kind of way we want to do them? That be the matter where we say we want to look at now. Because if you look beside town now, the matter just full everywhere.